What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. Today I'm going to open 3 envelopes that I just recently got back through the mail. So let me just jump right into this and see who we got. This first one is postmarked from Oakland, California. And it is indeed a return from former San Francisco Giants great utility infielder Rob Andrews on 1, 2, 3, duplicate there, and a 4th when he was with the Houston Astros. So let me tell you a little bit about Rob Andrews' career. Andrews was drafted originally by the Baltimore Orioles in the 1970 amateur draft, but would never play in the major leagues for them. He was traded along with Enos Cabell to the Astros for Lee May and Jay Schluter on December 3rd, 1974. Even though he batted over 300 in each of his previous 2 seasons in the minors, the Orioles felt that Andrews was expendable because Bobby Grich was well established as the Orioles' starting second baseman. The following spring, Andrews made his major league debut on April 7th, 1975, recording 2 hits in a 6-2 Astros win over the Braves. That season, he had the distinction of recording at least 1 base hit in each of his first 5 major league games. After 2 seasons in Houston, Andrews was traded to the San Francisco Giants for Willie Crawford and Rob Spraring prior to the 1977 season. After spending 2 years with the Giants, he was released by the Giants after the 1979 season, making his final major league appearance as a pinch hit batter in 1979. So I'm not really sure post-playing career what he did, but I know that he did not play in the majors after the 79 season. But a noteworthy thing about Andrews is his brother, Mike Andrews, played for the Boston Red Sox. I did not realize that the 2 of them were brothers. So very cool to add Mr. Andrews to my collection, as he's somebody that I never have gotten before. I might take a look at my collection to see if I have any Mike Andrews cards, and I might send to his brother soon too, and complete the brother collection, so to speak. Alright, so this next one is postmarked from Michigan, and it is a return from former catcher Jim Essien on 1, a 2nd as him as a coach or manager, and a 3rd as him as a coach, manager, get it right, in the minor leagues. I actually had sent him a 4th card, and again, I always try to include a couple extra cards, but the 4th card was actually when he was the manager of the Chicago Cubs. After the Cubs released Don Zimmer, or fired Don Zimmer to say it eloquently, Essien was the interim manager to finish out the 1991 season, and I actually had a 91 tops traded of him that I included in the group, but he kept it. So not a big deal, not an expensive card. I'd rather have him keep that than say a couple team set cards there from the minor leagues, but that's what happens when you send multiples in the mail. Very happy that he's proud of being the Chicago Cubs manager, even though it was just for a brief period of time. So let me tell you a little bit about Jim Essien and his career. Born in Detroit, Michigan, Essien was signed at the age of 18 by the Philadelphia Phillies in 1969. He would play in the Phillies minor league system, eventually working his way up to the major leagues, making his debut for the Philadelphia Phillies on September 15, 1973. Having amassed only 24 major league at-bats during 3 seasons with the Phillies, on May 7, 1975, Essien was traded to the Atlanta Braves for Dick Allen and Johnny Oates. On May 15th, Essien was selected by the Chicago White Sox as the player to be named later, thereby completing the December 74 trade in which the Braves had originally acquired Allen from the White Sox. So he was the player to be named later in a trade for Dick Allen, not once but twice. So he was part of the Dick Allen deal that sent him to Atlanta from the Phillies, and then the Braves, who acquired Dick Allen from the White Sox, sent him to the White Sox. In 1978, Essien was traded to the Oakland A's, which is that card right there. where his catching time became even more limited after a return stop to the White Sox, followed by the Mariners, Indians, and brief return to Oakland. He retired following being released by the A's at the end of spring training on March 31st, 1985. So overall, that's not a bad career in baseball. Almost 11 years as a backup catcher. That's pretty impressive that somebody can stay actively employed as a backup catcher for almost 11 years in the major leagues. Obviously, this time in the major leagues, Essien learned a lot, and he became a coach almost immediately in the minor leagues after retirement. As mentioned earlier, Essien became the manager for Don Zimmer and finished the season that year with a 59-63 1-loss record. Despite this, he was not offered the full-time position with the Cubs, and he would go back to coaching in various capacities at the minor league level. Some noteworthy things: Essien is the head coach of the Greek national baseball team, or at least he was. I don't know if he's still involved with that or not. And also, according to his Wikipedia page, in 2017, he became a manager of a semi-pro league in Michigan in the United Shore Professional Baseball League. So even to this day, he's still involved in some capacity in his native of Michigan as a coach, according to his Wikipedia page. And again, I don't know how accurate that is. Wikipedia, that might be an entry from 5 years ago for all I know. But overall, pretty cool to add Mr. Essien to the collection. I've never gotten him before, so very neat to get him on these two team set cards and this Oakland A's card. So we'll move on to the next one. All right, so this next one is postmarked from Texas, and it is a return from former Texas Ranger Jerry Don Gleaton on one. His other rookie card, he actually had two, as you can see, 3-player rookie cards back-to-back years. 1988 Fleer, and finally a 93 Stadium Club as a Florida Marlin. So Jerry Don Gleaton grew up in Texas, attended high school in Texas. He was actually drafted by the Baltimore Orioles in the second round of the '76 draft. However, he chose not to sign with the Orioles and instead opted to attend the University of Texas at Austin and become a Longhorn, which then worked out for him because he was then drafted by the home state Texas Rangers in the first round of the 1979 draft. So as you can see, this is his rookie card here, and he obviously rapidly moved up through the minor league systems if he was just drafted in 1979. So Jerry Don Gleaton, I don't know why he goes by Jerry Don, but he just always has. I'm not really sure why he goes by his middle name. Maybe his father was Jerry Gleaton as well, and he just added the middle name so they could tell the difference. But usually people don't go by their middle name or their full name when they play baseball. There's only a handful I can think of. Jim Ray Hart comes to mind. I'm sure some of the viewers can think of a few more, but they usually don't go by their full name. That's only used usually when you're a serial killer after they catch you. But just a joke, not really. After only spending 5 games in the minor leagues, Gleaton would make his major league debut in 1979 with the Texas Rangers, appearing in 5 games, starting 2 in them. In 1980, he, however, was designated back to the minor leagues, where he would spend 25 games in the minors before getting called up to the majors again in 1980, but only primarily used as a left-handed reliever. Well, after the 1980 season, he was then traded to the Seattle Mariners organization, and he spent most of 1981 split between Seattle and AAA for the Seattle Mariners. Well, while up with the Mariners, he appeared in 20 games, starting 13 of them. He had a 4-7 record that year. Well, he would start the year again in 1982 and put together a very solid campaign for the Mariners minor league affiliate, going 15-7, starting 24 games. He would have a brief call-up in '82 as well. However, he would only appear in 3 games as a reliever and not have any really good outings. In 1983, he would spend the entire season back in the Mariners' AAA affiliate as a starter, finishing the year with a .500 record. In 1984, he would again start the year with Seattle. However, he would be traded to the Chicago White Sox midway through the season, and the White Sox gave him a shot, calling him up to be a lefty specialist out of the bullpen. He went 1-2 in 11 appearances that year for the White Sox, and going into the '85 season, he would then split time between AAA and the majors for the White Sox, primarily being used as a lefty specialist. He would then spend all of 1986 in the minor leagues with the White Sox, then would sign as a free agent with the Kansas City Royals. The Royals would assign him to their AAA affiliate, but they would give him his shot in 1987, as he would appear in 48 games for the Royals as a left-handed specialist out of the bullpen. 1988, he would appear in 42 games for the Royals, but he would spend some time in AAA for the affiliate as well. 1989 was more of the same. He would appear in 15 games for the Royals, but he struggled that year, and he spent 24 games down in the minor leagues for the Royals as well. After the '89 season, going into 1990, on April 2nd, 1990, he was planning on being part of the Royals for another year. However, at the last minute, the Royals traded him to the Detroit Tigers during the 1990 season. He would spend the next 2 years in Detroit playing in the majors, appearing in 57 games in 1990 and 47 games in '91. After the '91 season, at 34, Gleaton signed a minor league deal with the Giants, however did not finish the year with the Giants and signed with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and then finished the year with the Pirates in '92, appearing in 23 games. After the '92 season ended, he signed as a free agent with the Florida Marlins, and even though this card depicts him as a Florida Marlin in the majors, he never actually appeared in a game in the majors for the expansion team Florida Marlins. He did not make the opening day roster. He actually appeared in 46 games at the age of 35 for the Marlins AAA affiliate. So that's kind of a bummer. At 35, you got to go back to AAA, and you don't even get a chance to be a part of history, being the first team in Florida Marlins history. So after the '93 season, he retired at 35 and moved back to Texas. I think, according to his Wikipedia page, he was involved as a coach at a small college in Texas in his hometown and still holds that position to this day. So if you're in the Texas area, Brownsburg, I believe it is, there's a small college there that he's affiliated with the baseball program. So if you happen to go to college baseball games, you just may very well see Jerry Don Gleaton at the game. So very happy to add his autograph to the collection. I'm going to see how well I can try to get these signed. I know I've seen Brian Allard and Greg Malberg signed through the mail, but I'm not too sure about Babcock and Butcher. I don't know those two guys. So happy to add those to the collection, along with Rob Andrews in the mix, and as well as Jim Essien. So thank you for joining me for another episode. I look forward to your comments below. Please leave some comments if you enjoyed this video.